You're tuned into Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano. Doreen brings energy, focus, and creativity with the most cutting-edge tools and systems needed to grow business, drive profits, and achieve dreams. Ready to rise? Here's your host, Doreen Milano.
Hi, I'm Doreen Milano, and this is Big Ideas Small Business. And today we have the pleasure of talking to Eric Pinto. We are going to have a conversation about cybersecurity and small business. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, it's good to meet you.
I am so interested to find out why cybersecurity has to be a real topic of conversation for small business.
Well, the real issue with security today is that the bad guys don't really care whether you're a small business or large business. They're just looking for data, right? So if they can get the data from one machine at a corporate environment and get lots of information, or if they could go to 10,000 companies and get information from each machine at each one, it doesn't really matter to them.
Now, are they actually sitting at a computer hacking, or is a lot of this automated?
Yeah, so the whole idea of like a guy with a hoodie on sitting in a basement just deciding that I'm going to hack you, Doreen, that's not really what's happening.
But that's what we see in the movies.
But that's
not happening?
That's exactly what you see in the movies. But what's really happening is that they're deploying scripts and tools to go out and just search the internet, right? They're just like little ants looking for information across the internet. And when they find it, they take it.
So how do they get into our computers?
Well, getting into the computers is an interesting thing, but maybe not so interesting. Literally, all you're doing is clicking on the wrong link, right, from Facebook or social media. Sometimes it's targeted. So if I know that you like cats, maybe I'm sending you a cat video, and then here, click here for more. And when you click here for more, you get more than what you're bargained for.
Absolutely. So tell me about your business. Now, I've heard the phrase MSP. What is an MSP? What does it mean to small business?
Yeah, so a managed service provider is typically a group of technology guys that will work with a small business to allow them to not have to hire that headcount, on staff. Instead, they'll partner with a group that'll provide services, make sure that they've got the computers that they need, that the printing network's working, that your phones are working, and everything else. And they're typically general technologists, so they'll have a wide range of knowledge over technology.
Interesting. And so you specialize in cybersecurity?
I do. So what we do is we fortify those guys by providing them with the right security resources and in a larger team. We have a team of security professionals that work in what we call a security operations center, or a SOC. And we're looking at small business data all day long. We're getting alerts and information, and we're deciphering that information to determine whether or not there's something happening in real time. And then we're giving you or your MSP a call and saying, hey, there's something happening. There's a problem on this network. That's typically days or even weeks or months before you would notice the problem on your own computer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So does this hacking that we're talking about, does it happen just on our computers? Does it happen on our phones too?
Unfortunately, the risk does extend to mobile devices, right? So you could get some mobile device management to start looking at what's happening on mobile devices. Some operating systems are more secure than others, but the risk is there either way, because even if you're on the most secure system, if I send you that video on cats and you click on the video and you
share it with 50 other people.
Right. Or more so, if I send you the video and then I say, hey, great, if you want to buy the poster that goes along with the video, buy it. Now you've given the credit card number, you've just given it away. It doesn't matter how secure the system was, you just gave it away anyway.
Very interesting. So how do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, so protecting ourselves.
That is your game, right?
that is our game. I think that it really depends on knowing first where your risks are, right? So, if I have a small deli, on Main Street, and I'm taking credit cards in small amount, and I've got a closed system for that, my risks are actually fairly small. But if I'm in mortgage or insurance or some of these other areas where I'm taking your information, right? If you go buy a house or go buy a car, I'm going to ask you for everything about you, right?
Right.
And your spouse, and your parents' maiden name, and all that information. All of that information then becomes at risk, right? So the more information, whether it's proprietary information, their own secret sauce, or your personal information, the more that information that's available, the higher the risk then becomes.
Well, let's look at something a little different. With the pandemic that has been going on, we are no longer working in office buildings. Right. We are no longer working necessarily in the four walls of our business, right? We are now working on mobile devices and laptops, and our workforce is not in our office where we have a secured environment. That's right. So how are we able to keep everything secure?
Yeah, so again, you have to look at what your risks are as a business, but then you have to look at how you're structured. So it used to be easy, right? We all worked in the same office. I knew Steve and Becky and Mary, and we all worked together, right? And your IT guy, whether it was one guy or whether it was an MSP, could just wire those computers together, and then all he had to worry about was that loop, right? That information bubble. What's happened in the last few months is we sent Bob and Steve and Mary home. and we may or may not have given them even secure devices. We may have said, hey, go home and log in from whatever you have at home. The risk is, especially in this time, we also have our kids at home. We also have our spouses at home. We're all getting on the same network. How secure is that network? So the risks are really compounded by the vast amount of challenges and variables that are involved. The best thing to do is, again, tighten back on that bubble. Tighten back on the bubble. Deploy a laptop that you then secure with the right software and things on the laptop, and then say, hey, when you're logging into the network, you need to go through a VPN or a tunnel or some sort of secure way to communicate back to the office.
Wonderful. Let's take a moment. We'll come back and talk about VPNs. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Strong business has always been the clear economic indicator. WorkSuites in Allen, Texas is just one of 18 locations in DFW and Houston that support your necessary transitions with full service and affordable workspaces for upgrading or downsizing your current workload. You need to be focused on growth. Trust the office experts and helpful staff at WorkSuites to take care of everything else, from dedicated phone lines and internet to furnished executive and co-working spaces. The OBBM network has tripled our business in the short months we've been with WorkSuites and encourages you to step out boldly, make the tough decisions, and get back to work your way. Your nation depends on it. The OBBM network acknowledges that this is a pivotal time in history, and it is clear the United States of America has been undermined by many of our elected officials for some time now. We want our local business audience to stand strong in the face of what we now understand, and to be empowered to grow our businesses on the local level beyond the limitations that have been imposed upon us. We believe it is in our national interest to inspire our communities through strong economic development, and additionally to hold our elected officials accountable for accurate representation of we the people. For that reason, we encourage you to go to WeStandForFreedom.com to learn about the National Write Your Congressman organization that has been the trusted communication tool for local communities for over 60 years. Learn how your representatives are voting. Understand the laws and regulations under consideration on the state and federal level before they are enacted at the county and city levels. Communicate directly with these officials and stand up for yourself, for by doing so, you will protect the communities you serve from tyrannical rule and unconstitutional reforms. The OBBM network is the premier voice for local business, and we take that responsibility seriously. The OBBM network has everything you need to grow and transition your business for success on popular syndicated podcast networks, Roku and other video channels, and the OBBM network app. We work for you, local business, and we've got your back.
Welcome back, and we're continuing with our conversation, and we were talking about VPNs. So what is a VPN?
It's a virtual private network, but we can put that aside for a moment.
Cool.
It's a secure way for the business environment, office building, whatever it is, to communicate down to the computer, wherever that might be located, hotel or in your home, and then back, right? So it's a secure highway between the two.
Okay, I understand that part. One of the things that is really important for us to really grasp here is that now that we've moved our business into our living room or dining room, we have all these other things that are happening within our home.
Yeah.
We have smart homes, we have a smart refrigerator and an oven and so on and so forth. We have a smart thermostat.
That's right.
We have a Ring doorbell.
Right.
We have, Wi-Fi for the kids. We have TVs that are operating on Wi-Fi. We've got tablets and phones and all kinds of things. And all of those things create what for you?
More risk.
More risk.
More vulnerability.
More vulnerability.
Right. I mean, each of those, if you think about it, each of those becomes a door, right? So the thermostat's a door in and out of the home, right? The kid's laptop, the tablet, all of these things are various doors in and out of the environment. So, and we have the same risks in the business environment too. We've got network managed thermostats. We've got there some businesses
Security.
Certainly security, but some businesses have their fish tanks are networked today, right? So there's so many different conduits and doors and avenues for vulnerability or risk. That's why the VPN at home is important, because if the IT guy, the MSP, is securing the office, and then you have a secure highway to your laptop, and hopefully you've secured that, and then you're not allowing the kids on it, and you're not allowing it to interact with all the other risks, then you've really limited your exposure, and that's what it's all about today, I think, for small business.
So one of the things that happened to me, I do have an MSP, thank God, and I was on a Zoom call, and somebody got in the back door of Zoom and sent me a ransom letter saying, we got your video and yada, 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 yada. So I called my MSP and they said, oh no, that's a lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they actually get in? Because
No.
Just by knowing that the world is on Zoom, if I send you an email that says, hey, I got your stuff and I got it through Zoom, there's a good chance that you were on Zoom at some point in the last week and you're gonna say, oh, maybe they do, but they probably don't.
They probably don't, but they don't because I have an MSP.
Right.
Right? But a lot of small businesses don't use managed service providers.
Yeah.
Right? I log on through a VPN. Most small businesses are not using a VPN to log on. Are those risks then elevated because they're not taking the fundamental steps to keep their network secure?
Potentially, right? I think that gone are the days where if you are managing that sensitive information, like we talked about earlier, you can't have your cousin Vinny, be your IT guy, if he doesn't have that skill set. Just because someone is familiar with technology or they know how to get something done doesn't make them, a subject matter expert, right?
Right.
So I think that it's good, whether it's an MSP or just a trusted resource, make sure that they understand your risk profile and then protect you accordingly.
Awesome. So one of the things that we're having to do from home now is collect credit card payments and process credit cards. And sometimes we're doing it via some of the providers out there. Sometimes we're just taking the credit card number, writing it on a piece of paper, and then processing that through the credit card company. If we don't have the security protocols in place, we're potentially creating a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the systems themselves are fairly secure, right? They, whether it's Square or the other payment systems that are out there, they're going through their process of securing everything from swipe through the tablet into their network. So they've done, hopefully they've done their job.
Right.
The risk that still becomes, the individual that's that's holding that credit card or has that credit card number. And if they're storing it somewhere else, like you said, if they're writing down on a piece of paper, the risk is someone sees or grabs the piece of paper. Same thing happens if they're storing it in a notepad on their in tasks or something on their device. Someone gets that notepad, right, that digital record, and then they've got that information. The real risk is not only the fact that that credit card could then be used, but it's really risk to your reputation, right? Because many a times when you're taking these shortcuts, it's really to provide some efficiency for yourself and maybe to make yourself a better servicer to your client, right? So when they call in, you recognize their voice and instantly you say, hey, we've already got that process for you and you're ready to go. And you've got certain things in place to make that easier for you. So it's risk to reputation, right? Because if that's your best clients and those are the ones that get impacted, where does your business go?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then the other side of reputation is most states today have a law that says if the information gets out there, I think most relatable way to look at this is we've all gotten the letter in the mail from Experian or from whichever company that says, hey, there was a data breach and it was 1 million people and you might be part of that million. The challenge is they don't know who was a part of that, right? It doesn't matter. When that happens with the larger company, Target, Home Depot, Sony, these larger companies, when those breaches happen, you're probably still going to go out and buy whatever you need to buy from those stores. But if it's your business and you're a smaller business and you've got a pool of customers that really trust and like you and are loyal to you, how strong? What is the strength of that loyalty, right? Yeah. Because those larger corporate firms will probably be okay, and you may not. Yeah, right.
There's also fines involved. Absolutely. Are there not?
Yeah. There's also the risk of fine as well. But I found that reputation is the biggest hit that most businesses take.
Very interesting. So if we look at this as a cybersecurity is the way that you can really do stopgap measures for your reputation, right? What's the number one recommendation for small businesses?
Right, and I started into this before. It's being aware of the risks and how the risks of yourself, right? So, what type of business do I have? What type of information am I maintaining? What type of information am I transacting? Starting there, that awareness piece,
right? And
then from the awareness piece, then how could that risk then impact me, right? So, you'd want to make sure that you're taking steps to tighten up on that bubble, knowing exactly where the data is flowing, right? Whether it's whether a VPN would get it securely down to my house, right, or to Starbucks or wherever else I'm working. But tightening up on the bubble, making sure that you understand where the data is, whether it's in your office, whether it's at home, whether it's in the kids' playroom, and then locking it down. Thankfully, you can work with managed service providers, and you can do that. You can also get tools and roll them out on your own devices fairly affordably.
Thank you so much. We're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
Introducing IV Hookup.
IV treatments have been the standard of care used for years to deliver intravenous hydration treatment to patients. Our medical director has created a safe, industry-standard protocol to efficiently support your wellness through IV vitamin hydration, including options for athletic performance, mood enhancement, general wellness, and hangover recovery. IV Hookup now offers full-spectrum COVID-19 testing at reasonable prices. This means we can get you and your staff tested in a quick time frame. Are you hosting a group event? We can provide a customized package for IV treatment and COVID testing as well. IV Hookup is everything you need to both stay healthy and to prove it.
Go to ivhookup.com to order yours, and we'll bring it right to you. That's ivhookup.com.
Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. We'll custom price and build a contract around your business requirements, not around the supplier's preferred way of doing things. We go and do a custom price based on your energy usage profile. In our business, we can help any commercial business owner regardless of the size of their company. If you're paying $100 for your electricity per month or you're paying $1 million, we're able to help you get a better price based on who you are. Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. Texas is very proud to have been able to shut down 9 coal-fired power plants in the last few years and replace that production with clean burning renewable energy. 85% of the electricity in the grid for Texas is used on commercial. We're here to help those 85% reduce their costs as much as possible.
Welcome back. And we are talking about cybersecurity in small business with Eric Pinto. And Eric, what is the recommendation that you have? How do people enact that?
Yeah, the recommendation first starts with putting together the right team. So whether that's individuals that work for the organization, for slightly larger organizations, or partnering with a technologist or a service provider to help you out.
Well, what do we need to look for? What's important for us?
Yeah, you want to make sure that they have an understanding of your business. I think a lot of the times when you're shopping around or trying to find those technologists to work with, you're sort of laser focused on cost and trying to get the lowest. And obviously we want to all get a decent deal and not break the bank. But if your business itself has some inherent concerns, again, law firms, certainly healthcare, insurance groups, if there's some inherent concerns in what you're doing, you want to make sure that you're partnering with a team that understands those concerns and can address them directly.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So when we move forward, we're going into the holidays, we're in the holidays, and this whole process of cybersecurity, secure payments, all of that should be top of mind for almost every business.
Yeah.
Not just the big businesses, but the small businesses as well. It is really important that we step through that process by looking for the right MSP to really service our business. Is that correct?
It's incredibly important. Again, step one is self. So we want to make sure that you're self-aware of your own risks. Step two, make sure that you've got the right partnerships. And step three, I'd say, is educating your team, right? Because most of the concerns, most of the risks will reside here, right? Just making a bonehead move, right? Clicking on the wrong thing. So education awareness down to your team is I think, incredibly important as well. So those are 3 things that I'd look to if I were a business owner today. And that's certainly the guidance that we give from my company down all the time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a delight for having you here.
All right, thank you.
My name is Doreen Milano. My business is Visions to Excellence. I am a business consultant and executive coach. I work with businesses to get them to the next level. Give us a call. You're on the OBBM network. Blessings. Happy holidays.
This has been Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano. Doreen Milano solves problems for small and mid-market family-owned businesses and service-based industries. To work with Doreen, go to v2e.biz. For guest and sponsorship information, call 650-483-5798. Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano is produced by Offbeat Business Media for the OBBM Network. For OBBM Network programming information, call 214-714-0495. Unauthorized use of any part of Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano without prior permission through the OBBM Network is strictly prohibited.